How many games will the Pittsburgh Steelers win in 2025? What's going on, Steeler Nations, as we call Steelers fans? It's your boy Mayo Jones here, back at it with another NFL record prediction. And this time we'll be doing our record prediction for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 NFL season. Give you my game thoughts, see which games I think the Steelers are going to win and which games I think the Steelers will lose. So before I give you my record prediction for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 NFL season, don't forget to put the thumbs up to like the video, subscribe to my channel for more options, and don't forget to comment down your opinion below to see how far you think the Steelers will go. Do you think they'll make a playoff push again? Do you think they'll win the AFC North for the first time since 2020? Or you think the Steelers are going to miss out on the playoffs and take a step back? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, what you guys think. So as you know, the Steelers signed Aaron Rodgers. That's a great, that's a huge plus for the Steelers. So I give them credit for. But as you know, the Steelers also play the Jets week 1, and you also got to play the Packers on primetime. So yeah. So the Steelers got to play against the Jets week 1. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback, so that's a 70% chance of win for the Steelers. Now, here's why. Now, the Steelers, they have the better quarterback. They have the better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. And, this is the Aaron Rodgers revenge game because Aaron Rodgers, he knows the Jets really well and feels, he won't get his revenge on the Steelers, which the Steelers really know him really well, which the Steelers, at the end of the day, the Jets, are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league because the Jets, they have a rookie coaching staff, and, the Steelers, ultimately, both of their offensive lines are sketchy, but they both got great defenses. I think the Steelers, with their defensive line, with their front seven, I think they'll find a way to, get after Justin Fields, make him uncomfortable in the pocket, which that will lead to bad sacks, mistakes, turnovers, and stuff like that. And, Fields just like to hold on to the ball so long. Like, wherever Fields goes, he can run, but like I said, he holds on to the ball so long, and he can't read a defense. So I feel like the Steelers defense get after it. And especially the Steelers, with their new improved secondary, I think they'll find a way to at least cover Garrett Wilson, because I don't think the Jets are going to have the passing game to get after that secondary. And even if the Steelers, could become to start off slow and DK can't get open, I still think that, the Steelers will find a way to move the ball offensively a little bit and, to keep their offense on balance. So I think the Steelers, find a way to win that game. Then week 2, they got to play against the Seahawks, the home opener. I actually going to say the Steelers are going to win this game. And the reason for it is that I just think the Steelers, with their pass rush, I feel like their pass rush against the Seahawks offensive line is a mismatch. I don't think the Seahawks offensive line is anything special. And the Steelers defense, like I said, is very, very underrated. And I think they'll get after Sam Darnold, make him uncomfortable in the pocket. And I think that your new improved secondary can match up well with Cooper Kupp. So as long as you don't really give up big plays to Cooper Kupp, I think you should be fine. And I think, even though Seahawks have a great defense, they could give Aaron Rodgers fits. But they did that last year, though. But I feel like if Aaron Rodgers, as long as the Steelers offensively can at least move the ball and possess the ball, to keep their offense unbalanced, I think they should be fine. So I think the Steelers win this game to start off 2-0. Then next game, week 3 against the New England Patriots. Obviously, I actually got you guys losing to the Patriots, so I'm going to give the Patriots a win here. And the reason for it is that I just think the Patriots, match up well with the Steelers on paper. And, the Patriots, they have beaten the Steelers over the last couple of years. And I haven't really seen the Steelers beat the Patriots in New England for a past couple seasons. And I just feel like the Patriots, their defense can really give Aaron Rodgers a lot of fits. And they have a really good improved secondary. I think they can lock down DK as long as if the Patriots are not giving up big plays to him. And I just feel like that their offensive line is solid. Now, Diz could be a problem for the Steelers secondary, but if the Steelers defense give up big plays to him, then Diggs will probably be uncoverable, and they'll be in trouble. Because if the Steelers really want to win a matchup on defense, they just have to cover Diggs. Because if they don't cover Diggs, then Diggs is probably going to get uncoverable, and Drake might span the ball to him several times. So yeah, and I feel like the Patriots at home could be a difference maker in this game because Josh McDaniels had a good game plans against the Steelers. So yeah, the coaching matchups are very even. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a close game, but I think the Patriots will come up on top with the victory. Then week 4 against the Vikings. I thought this game was in Pittsburgh, but now the game is in Ireland. Obviously, this game can go either way. I do lean Steelers here to win just because they're at home. I know this is a home game for them, even though they're not in Pittsburgh, they're in Ireland. I just have a feeling that Brian Flores is probably going to give Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers offense a lot of fits. But what the Vikings like to do? They like to blitz a lot, and Brian Flores is really aggressive. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers will probably decipher and probably know where to go with the ball and probably see which guy is open, which guy is not. But at the same time, I have a feeling that the Steelers' offensive line is probably going to be a little bit disorganized against that defense in Minnesota because Minnesota has a really good front seven that can really get after you. They can stop the run. Against the pass, they're really good, but their cornerback group is suspect. I think DK can totally have a good game here. He could totally go off. And I feel like that, this Steelers pass rush can totally give JJ McCarthy and that Vikings offense tons of fits, which that could lead into bad mistakes and all that. And especially, I wouldn't trust a rookie quarterback against that Steeler defense and all that. And Mike Tomlin is really good at confusing these type of guys, confusing these type of young quarterbacks. And I feel like that the Vikings offense could totally struggle with the Steelers on defense because they like to stop the pass. And with your new cornerback group, I think they'll find a way to at least match up well with the Vikings weaponry. I think they're gonna stop the run, load the box to keep the Vikings offense out off balance. So I think this is going to be a low scoring game because both defenses are very good, but their offenses could be coming in disorganized in this game. But I lean the Steelers here. So they're 3-1 heading towards a bye. As you know, the Steelers always start the season off hot. Every year, every September they do every early in the season they do. So they get a bye week. Then after the bye week, they have to play the Cleveland Browns at home. I actually got them beating the Browns just because I don't know who the quarterback for the Browns is going to be. Is it going to be Shedeur Sanders? Is it going to be Joe Flacco? Is it going to be Dylan Gabriel? Is it going to be Kenny Pickett? But it'll be fun if Kenny Pickett was playing this game, but I don't think that give the Browns the best chance to win. So yeah, I think the Steelers win because they're at home. They got the better coaching staff, better quarterback. They're at home. They're the much more physical team. So yeah. Then week 7 against the Cincinnati Bengals, Thursday Night Football, another primetime setting on a short week. This game can go either way, but I think the Steelers are going to beat the Bengals once this year. So I'm going to say the Steelers are going to beat the Bengals on the road just because, the Bengals tend to start off slow because they're totally coming unprepared and they're tired. And, the Steelers, they pretty much own the Bengals anyway because I feel like the Steelers might be more motivated while the Bengals might be coming in exhausted and tired because they typically start off slow and they typically get better towards the end of the year. So yeah, I think the Steelers find a way to put us one off. The next game, Week 8 against the Packers on Sunday Night Football. This is another Aaron Rodgers revenge game. I got the Steelers winning this game because, Aaron Rodgers, playing versus the Packers is going to be fun. And I just feel like, I feel like the Steelers defense can get after Jordan Love, cause some mistakes. And, I think their secondary can find a way to at least play sticky coverage against an underwhelming receiving core of the Packers, because the Packers receiving core is kind of a little bit underwhelming. But the Packers secondary could be a little bit suspect if they lose Jair Alexander. I mean, DK can have a really good game here if he's gone. So, yeah. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers can make some magic happen. So, yeah, I mean, as long as their offense can stay balanced and all that, so I think the Steelers find a way to win this game. And then their defense can find a way to, make some big plays. I think they'll find a way to pull one off. So, yeah, I think the Steelers will beat the Packers. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers, beating the Packers, that would be very amazing. So, yeah. The next game, Week 9, against the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, the Steelers somehow do lose to the Colts for no reason. I'm probably gonna say the Steelers are gonna beat the Colts, because they're gonna get their revenge. Because I think the Steelers, they're I don't know who the quarterback for the Colts is gonna be. Is it gonna be Anthony Richardson? Is it gonna be Daniel Jones? Who knows? I mean, the Colts, just don't have, yeah, they made improvements. Big Lou could be familiar with the Steelers because he has, good game plans against Steelers in the past. He had bad game plans against them. I mean, Steelers not lose to the Colts. I mean, the Colts probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league because the Steelers, they got the better quarterback. They got the better coaching staff. They're at home, and they're just a much more physical team. And I feel like the Colts are really going to take a step back this year because I think the Steelers' pass rush does match up well with the Colts. I feel like they can get after. They can stop the run, force some mistakes. And, the Colts receiving core is okay, but nothing special. So I think their secondary can, get after them. And, so yeah. So I think, the Steelers should win that game for sure at home. The next game against the Los Angeles Chargers, I actually think they're going to lose that game because if this was in Pittsburgh, I would take the Steelers. Now, last year, when these two teams played, the game was in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers did win when Justin Herbert got hurt. So, yeah, so I think the Chargers will win just because, the Chargers are at home, and the Chargers, I just have a feeling that the Chargers, are probably going to be more physical offensively, that I think they can find a way to at least, control the Steelers' pass rush with their new improved offensive line. The Chargers got, a really good run game, which I think they'll run the ball a lot better with Greg Roman because they got two new running backs in Harris and Hampton, which this could be the Najee Harris revenge game. The Chargers defense is solid. I think they'll find a way to – I feel like they can get a pass rush on Aaron Rodgers, make him uncomfortable in the pocket. And, even though they don't have a great secondary with no cornerbacks, I still think the Chargers defense will find a way to at least cause some mistakes and get after Aaron Rodgers and all that. So yeah, so basically I think the Chargers, find a way to pull this off here, and especially they're at home in this game, which that helps. So yeah, I think the Chargers will find a way to win this game at home in LA on a primetime setting. Then Week 11 against Cincinnati Bengals, I think they'll split with the Bengals. Like I said, they're going to lose that game there just because, the Bengals, pretty much, they pretty much played the Steelers hard. Even last year, the Bengals did beat them. It was a low-scoring game. So, yeah, I think the Bengals, are going to have more to play for because they could be a team that might make the playoffs or they could barely miss it. Same thing with the Steelers. So, they could be a team that totally could head towards the playoffs and, or they could totally miss it too. So, yeah. I think the Bengals and Steelers will split with each other. Now, next game, week 12 against Chicago Bears. This is another game that can go either way. Now, I could see the Bears winning because I know going Chicago, it could be a different, it could be, it's kind of a tough environment though. But at the same time, I'm going to go with the Steelers here because I just think the Steelers, they just got like the better quarterback, better coaching staff. I think they're the more complete team. Bears got a new head coach, a rookie head coach, and Ben Johnson. So yeah, and Aaron Rodgers, he owns the Bears. I mean, there's nothing to say that. Like he owns the Bears. Like even though when he's with the Packers, he owns the Bears. I mean, if this wasn't Aaron Rodgers, I think that's a Bears win. But with Aaron Rodgers being the Steelers quarterback, I feel like that's a Steelers win here. So yeah, so I think the Steelers will win. Then next game, week 13 against the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, I think they'll lose to the Bills just because the Bills are just a more complete team, have the better quarterback and all that. So yeah, I feel like they're just going to be way too physical for the Steelers. So yeah, but I feel like if the Steelers, if they can get a pass rush on Josh Allen and force a bad game from him, anything is possible that the Steelers could totally win. But I just think the Bills are just way too physical for the Steelers, so I think the Bills will win. Next game, week 14 against the Baltimore Ravens. I actually think they're gonna lose to the Ravens once. So I think they'll beat the Ravens once. So I'm gonna say they lose the first game against the Ravens just because the Ravens be playing them tough. But even last time when these two teams played, in that playoff game, the Ravens did destroy them, where the Ravens were running the ball a lot on the Steelers. So yeah, and plus the Ravens, I just think they're just a much more physical team, and they're at home. So I think the Ravens will win this game for sure, and I kind of have them winning the division as well. So yeah, next game against Miami Dolphins. I mean, on a Monday night football in Pittsburgh, I ain't got nothing to say. I mean, Steelers, I think they'll win this game. I mean, Dolphins, they're a soft team. Their offensive line is not bad. I mean, their offensive line is going to be bad. I mean, their defense, it's going to take a step back, and their secondary is going to be really bad if Jalen Ramsey's gone. So I feel like, DK could have a good game here. He could be a problem for the Dolphins secondary. And I just have a feeling that, a Florida team traveling to Pittsburgh in the month of December is not ideal. And, especially in the cold, I mean, come on now. I mean, Steelers, who knows? Tua could be hurt by then. And, Steelers, they have a better defense. I think they can get after Tua. They can get after Tua. They can stop the running game. And I feel much that their secondary will find a way to at least, play some sticky covers against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So, yeah, that can force Miami to run the ball and all that. So, yeah. I think Steelers win because they have the better coaching staff. They're at home. They're a much more physical team. And I think Steelers has got the better quarterback. So, yeah, I think the Steelers will win. Um, Next game, Week 16 against Detroit Lions. Obviously, I think they'll lose to the Lions just because, the Lions, are just way too physical for the Steelers. Like, they are because the Lions, they have a real, they're too physical for the Steelers just because here's the thing. The Lions, just have the better, they're a much more physical team. They're at home. And, I just have a feeling that, Aaron Rodgers, has struggled against the Lions throughout his career. So that's something you got to remember. I think the Lions defense can really give the Steelers offense and Aaron Rodgers a tough time. And their secondary can find a way to at least, you know, they can just lock down DK Metcalf, force the Steelers to throw the ball to other people. Yeah. And, the Steelers, I just don't think they're gonna do much on offense because the Lions, defense is just gonna be tough to run on, and the Lions offense could be tough to stop because you gotta deal with Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, Jameer Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams. So yeah, that's a lot to ask for. So I think the Lions find a way to win that game. Then week 17 against the Cleveland Browns. I think they'll lose to the Browns and split the Browns like they typically do because the Browns usually play them tough and all that. I think the Browns will steal this one. And then last game, week 18 against the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, you typically do play the Ravens tough. I'm gonna give the Steelers a win here just because I felt the Ravens might rest their starters because who knows by the end of the season. I mean, the Ravens, they could be clinching a playoff berth by then. So yeah. So basically, um, I have the Steelers going 10-7, which that is pretty good enough to make the playoffs though. But I just don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. I got them fighting with the Bengals for second place just because the Steelers could have a much more easier schedule than the Bengals. But as you look at the Steelers schedule, it's tough because you have to play, the Patriots, who I think is going to make the playoffs. You got to play the NFC North division, which I think you got to play the Vikings. You play the Packers, and you play the Lions, which that's the first place schedule, and the Bears. They play another first place schedule in the Bills, the Ravens twice. They got to play the Bengals twice. They got to play the Chargers. So, yeah, that's a tough schedule. So, and the only team that the Steelers don't play is the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Rams, the Bucks, the Texans, the Broncos, the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Cowboys. So, yeah. So, basically, this is not an easy schedule for the Steelers. So, like I said, I could see some games, see them losing one more game. Like, maybe they'll lose. Maybe they can lose to the Jets. Maybe they lose to the Vikings. I could see them lose to the Bears, even with Aaron Rodgers. Like, yeah, and I could totally see them at least winning games. Like, maybe they'll sneak one out against the Patrons. So yeah, so I think the best chance for the Steelers. I think they'll probably go somewhere from like 9 to like maybe 9 to 11 wins. So basically, I got the Steelers at least at 10 wins, maybe 12-5 at best. So, yeah. So basically, I still think the Steelers are just going to be a team where there could be competitive and their defense, will still be on the same level, but I feel like the offense is going to be a little bit up and down. So, yeah. But at the same time, the Steelers, they play, I feel like 10-7 sounds about right, especially with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. But let's imagine Aaron Rodgers didn't sign with the Steelers and it was Mason Rudolph starting. Like, maybe they can lose to Baltimore twice, or maybe they can lose to the Bengals twice if you can't stop them. So, yeah, I can see them sweeping the Browns. And, yeah, so I feel like if Mason Rudolph start, I think they'll probably win like 7 games, maybe less than that. So, yeah, I feel like 8-9 will probably be their floor. I feel like 9 to 11 wins is probably the minimum wins that I want Steelers to go. So, yeah. So, I feel like 10-7 sounds about right for the Steelers. So, let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. Don't forget to put a thumbs up to like the video and subscribe as well. Well, thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Peace.